Two. Good. Good. One. Okay, cool. And awesome. Okay, good, good. I think this is right.
Yeah.
No.
Meow. Meow.
No. So this should be okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep like this over here. Stop it, Rukia.
Are you still alive?
Yeah, we're still alive.
Okay.
That's just going through this. Just kind of the issue here is it's not actually populating this, which is what I would very much like it to do. But for some reason it does not want to do that. Who knows? Who knows why? Okay. Let's have you stand just out of frame there. What we're gonna do is we'll move this down to this, and so this should be good, and you should be able to actually control everything from here and see the chat from here, and then yeah, this will actually work better.
Okay.
Okay. Rukia, you quit. You quit, please.
Did you check the camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing. Okay, I couldn't like make any post or anything about it because
Why?
it wouldn't let me. It wouldn't let me like link it.
Oh.
Or anything. Wouldn't let me do anything.
You could just link your channel.
I can't. Not right now.
Alan, you gotta do me a solid.
Nope. I can try. Mother. Oh. Using new stuff is hard. Using new stuff is hard. Especially when I can't see anything and I'm trying to stop it. No. Okay. Maybe share that on Twitter. Let's see how Artemis does this. Okay, I shared it. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
It's not the most eloquent tweet I've ever done, but it'll work.
Get in here, bitches.
Okay, can you see the chat?
Yes.
Is the chat on the right?
Chat is over here.
Yeah, I can't see that at all, so.
What's the bottom comment?
Bottom comment?
Yeah.
Emojis.
Perfect.
Yes.
What are they?
Coffin and radioactive.
Oh.
I don't know if that's a threat or not.
I don't know.
I don't know. It popped up there a few minutes ago.
Okay. What's the chat saying?
Hosher says double shirt guy link the channel.
Uh-huh. It's already linked.
It is.
Goober.
All right. Everyone, can all of you hear us and see us just fine? If so, someone make sure that you can, so that we can fix it if there's a problem. Otherwise, we're going to keep going.
How many people are in the chat?
9 currently.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hello.
I just want to make sure everything's good.
Yep.
Everything's good? All right. Good. All right. So, all right. So, anyway, guys, hi. I'm Spin, and this is Ink. Why are you waving when I say my name?
I'm really excited.
Wait.
Hi, it's Spin.
Yeah. Right. This is Ink, and we're going to talk to you guys about the furry fandom a little bit today, and some things that are, well, a bit concerning sometimes, and sometimes a bit weird, sometimes a bit awkward, a little bit of everything, and so let's do that.
Okay.
Okay. So, one trend that I completely noticed, and so did you, and I think you like a little bit more than the rest of us, is the trend of harnesses. This isn't a new trend by any means, but it is one that's pretty popular and also really lucrative. So, yeah, so hold on one second, and let's pull up a picture of some harnesses. So yeah, so here's here are some harnesses for you to look at. This is what you like?
That's good stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so the question, I guess, is it like overtly sexual, and is that gonna cause like problems?
It's not for me, but I guess it is a normally sexual thing, so it could cause problems. You're definitely going to get some attention that you might not want, especially if you don't see it as a sexual thing.
Right. Okay, so if you don't see it as a sexual thing and you wear it, you're probably going to get some attention that you'd otherwise regret getting. But is that really a problem? Is that something that you should be concerned about?
Depending on who the person is and to the level they may take it, yeah.
Right.
It's no secret in the furry fandom that people do weird stuff to other furries just because they're in fursuit. So if you're wearing something like that, you just want to be wary of other people and what they could potentially do to you.
Okay. Is anything in the chat at all?
Outro Wolf asked how you are.
Oh, well, I'm doing really well. If there's a question or something, just pass it along to us, no matter what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Question, comment, any of those things, pass it along to us so that we know, because we can't really see the comment thread right now at all.
So far, no comments about, no questions about the...
Right. That's fine. So, do you think that maybe that this might, I guess, provoke a negative response and therefore might be better left to just the kink community? Or do you think that do you think maybe it's something that we should just see as like, well, we just like the aesthetic, so that's fine too?
I think that it should be left as an aesthetic. I think anybody should be able to enjoy this. You know, as long as you're not walking around in just this, it should be fine.
Okay. So, in essence, it's perfectly fine to wear this, even though it might mean something rather differently to some people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you get that negative attention that you didn't want, because these people see this and then they assume that, however wrong, they assume that this is what this is, that's really on them and not on you.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Do you not think that? Do you think that?
No, it's fine.
That's fine. So that's on them.
The person or the person coming after
The person that's coming after you. That's on them for thinking that.
Yes.
Okay.
Just don't be weird.
Yeah. I'm of two mindsets. I believe you should be able to wear whatever it is that you want to wear. But at the same time, if you wear something that is sort of meant to be a little provocative, then you are going to get that attention, and some of the blame, maybe not all of it, but some of it is kind of on you. So you kind of have to like be okay
Yeah.
at a certain point that you're going to get that attention and have something in place to deal with it, so that you don't suffer any kind of negative consequences, unless of course you're looking for that kind of thing, in which case, yeah, this over here, just wear that.
Go for it.
I think we can clear that one now. Yeah. So yeah. So what do you guys think? Do you think that wearing a harness is a good thing? Do you think it just invites trouble? Is it just an aesthetic? Is it a bit of both? And do you think that having a plan for dealing with this kind of negative attention should be good?
So, for example, because I'm looking for a harness to get at some point. I'm not gonna go out by myself in just this, just because again we've addressed people will do, weird things. But I do surround myself with friends that will help if an uncomfortable situation comes up.
I mean, that's about right, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, it's all about whether or not you are comfortable with yourself enough to. I see Gotham, buddy. You're gonna have to lay down if you're gonna be in here. You're gonna have to lay down if you're gonna be in here. So lay down. Lay down. You can do it. Lay down. Your bone's right there. Lay down. There you go. Good boy.
Quill, are people saying things?
Just commenting on different things, like why do you stream now that I have to go to bed, says Jax, so that they can't watch. Apparently you owe them a beer for this, so.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Well, you need to tell me that. If you let him just go away, he'll just assume that I agree to that.
Jack, sleep comes after death.
You don't even get sleep after death.
No. You get a little bit more peace,
Okay.
but I guess.
Yeah, he says it's 11:34 there right now.
Oh, well, that's not too late.
You can stay up.
You can stay up. You're fine.
Also, we had some problems with the computer, so it didn't. We were supposed to be streaming like an hour ago.
Whoops.
That kind of thing happens.
You thought the whole computer was gone for a
I
bit.
really did. I unplugged one part, and my computer locked up so hard, I thought I had destroyed my entire computer, which meant that I wouldn't be able to make videos for a while. Which, I mean, I guess psychologically that might have been a nice break, but financially that would have been awful.
Yeah.
Outro Wolf sends hugs to you and your friend.
Okay.
Hugs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Outro. How many do we have in stream now? 10? Okay, well that's fine. But so back to what we're talking about with the idea of the harnesses and things of that nature. I think that for a lot of people it probably is just an aesthetic.
Yeah.
It probably is just an aesthetic, and it's nothing more than that. For some people, it's a little bit more. But then again, we could also turn that on its head and say for fursuiting, for some people it's a little bit more, and for other people it's just an aesthetic.
Exactly.
So really, what people find sexually attractive or otherwise is kind of up to them, and how they see things shouldn't dictate how you do things.
Mhm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. You want to add any more to the conversation other than that sounds right?
No, I think I'm good.
You are just the best streaming partner.
Sorry.
You're supposed to help.
I know.
You're
You're
not
doing
helping.
such a good job, though.
And all you have to, you just, yeah.
I could just be your mascot.
We are in fursuit. Why do I need a mascot for my fursuit?
You never know.
I am my mascot.
I mean, but Spin's like higher level thinking. He might think of himself as another being. What if your persona had a persona? It would be me.
Why would your persona need a persona?
What if he wants to be something else?
Like what?
What if you feel compelled to be a different animal?
Compelled? Like, no, okay. How does that work?
I don't know.
Like, how would, like, I
It's the
already have a persona, so my persona also needs a persona?
Yes. He doesn't need it. He wants it.
Okay, so my persona wants another persona. Is anyone else getting this?
No, apparently not. They're just saying hi to each other.
Oh, good. Thank you, chat.
I think what he really wants is to be a kitsune, because they're pretty bomb.
Just because you couldn't decide on one tail and had to have three because you lack choice, you just like decisiveness. That's just your problem.
Three tails are just better than one.
Outro is leaving because they have a Beat Saber tournament tomorrow.
Oh,
All right, well,
nice.
good luck with that.
Bye. Thanks for coming.
I hope you do well. Bye. And, yeah, so, what are you talking about?
Kitsunes are good.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm a Finnick. Finnicks are fine too. What's wrong with Finnicks?
They're okay, just not enough tails.
Not enough.
Guys, say hey to Magnus.
Hi, Magnus.
Hi, Magnus.
Hi. Did Magnus say hi?
They did, yes.
Okay.
No, he just wanted us to say hey to
Yeah,
him.
I was just really wanting you to say that.
I was just curious. You didn't preface it with anything. You just like say hi to Magnus. Okay, Magnus. Hi. How are you today? It's always that pause because they have to type and then we have to read it.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if we had voice chat.
Hydro Lover said you are both adorable.
Aw, you're adorable. Thank you.
I mean, that's nice.
You're all so beautiful.
Okay. You're being a little
Channeling
generic.
my inner Keanu Reeves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. You're being a little memey at this point.
Needy.
Mimi.
Oh, okay. I thought you said needy.
That too. You're
I'm not
usually-
needy. I'm just being nice.
You are very needy.
I am not needy.
I've been to conventions with you. You're needy.
You are.
I am a strong, independent kitsune, and I don't need no man.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't make you not needy.
No, I don't need anybody.
Oh, I wasn't talking about people. I've seen you in the dealer's den.
Oh.
You are needy.
Oh.
Magnus said they're good. How are you?
We're doing fine, I think.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're talking about issues with the furry fandom. If there's something you actually want us to cover, please put it in the comments, and Quill will read it to us, and we will discuss it and give you our opinions on it. But we do have a few things lined up for you, including a video for us to watch and then comment on. It's a video that we have previously watched, and we have our particular opinions on it, and we just kind of want to see what you guys think.
Undertaker asked a different question. If
Okay.
you're going to any car shows anytime soon.
Car shows? Not that I'm aware of. Not at the moment. I don't normally go to a lot of car shows myself. I do like cars. I I tend to kind of favor the JDM market, but that's just me. I don't really care that much for, the American muscle car or whatever. It's not really my thing.
Juicy Apple Puppy says not every furry has to have a fursuit. What do you guys think about that?
Damn right.
That's very true. Like, you don't have to have a fursuit to be a furry. Like fursuiters just kind of like we're just economically irresponsible. Is all that we are. We've chosen to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on fursuits that we don't need, and neither do you. Like, there are plenty of people that have made big names for themselves without fursuits. Like, you have Uncle Kage, you have uh you have Blue the Dragon, you have let's see, Alkali, really, Xander the Blue doesn't need a fursuit, but he wears his dragon fursuit all the time. You have Pandez. Pandez does have a fursuit, but he doesn't wear it on stage or anything. You have what is it? Like, I think Fox and Pepper, they don't have fursuits, do they?
I don't think so.
I don't think they've got fursuits either, and like they're great. They like I don't think I've ever been able to get into one of their concerts. So, they're great though. Like, you have all of these like people that are so highly influential, and they don't need a fursuit. Not to talk to people, not to do things, not to be funny. Just people like fursuits because they're cutesy, but they're expensive, and they are definitely a want and not a need. You do not need one.
If you like animals and you want to associate with the term furry, congratulations, you're a furry.
Otherwise, be whatever you want to be. You don't have to have a fursuit.
No, you don't. Absolutely not.
Potato King 103 asked, what are your thoughts on people tracing others' artwork?
I'll let you handle that.
Do not. So for me, it depends. If you're trying to use it as a learning tool, I think that's fine. I started out tracing every artist that I know. Started out tracing other people's stuff. However, I didn't post it and I didn't claim it as my own. I think tracing real life stuff might be better. I wouldn't trace another artist's art because every artist has mistakes. Nobody has anatomy down 100%. And if you're just tracing to learn this artist, sure, you might get their style or how they draw a certain thing, but you're also picking up their mistakes. So for me, if I had to give advice, I would use real life references. Try not to trace, just use your eye. Train your eye to find the different body parts that you're trying to draw.
Now, in from someone who doesn't draw, so what if you're just using it as a way to learn how to draw something and you've never really drawn, like say an eye before, and you're tracing this person's eye, but not the whole thing, but just the eye, and you're just learning how to draw an eye or how this person draws an eye, and you're using that as a jumping off point. Would you find that acceptable, or would you say that's a bad idea?
I still think it's a bad idea because once again, you're still picking up their mistakes. If you wanted to learn how they specifically do something, so maybe you want to draw them like gift art in their style or something like that, I think that's okay. But again, I always recommend draw from real life. If you're trying to draw a wolf, trace the wolf's eye, get that shape down. Then go to another animal, get that shape down.
So what about Toonie style?
Hmm?
How do you translate real life into Toonie style?
It's all about exaggeration.
Okay.
So if you're drawing a football shape, just take the football shape and make it bigger. Move some things around. I would also reference old cartoons. They've been really good. It's what I grew up on. I drew Scooby-Doo all the time when I was little.
Okay. So what's the difference between referencing and tracing?
Referencing is just looking at something and trying to get that. Tracing is lifting somebody's work, putting it down and saying, hey, I did this. If you're copying it like line by line, that's tracing.
Okay. And just so that we have a...
Wow. Wow.
hold on. Okay, I'll call them back later. I should have probably put that on silent. Just so that we understand the terminology, can you tell us the difference between referencing and heavy referencing?
Okay, heavily referencing. I need examples for this. It would be a whole lot easier with examples. If you take somebody's art and you twist the head the
Yeah.
other way, but everything else is basically mirrored, that's heavily referencing. You've copied everything except the head. And you should, if you want to use that, you should ask the artist first if they will allow it, if it's acceptable. Referencing is more minor, I believe. If it's you want to copy the way somebody drew a certain leg, a position, but it's just so small where you probably couldn't pick it out. That's more referencing. You're trying to get the certain shape and how that flows. Again, you should still ask the artist if they're okay with it, but I think that's my definition of the difference between the two.
Okay, just so that we like fully understand the terms.
Yes.
And like because there's so many different times when people say like, well, I just referenced this, and what they mean is like, I line for line drew this.
Yeah, no.
and this isn't my style. This is their style that I copied by just keeping looking and drawing, looking and drawing, looking and drawing, and eventually it's just the same picture.
Right.
Which is fine if you're like learning, I guess, and just kind of like, drawing stuff just for yourself. But if you're gonna post things, it should never be that.
Yep.
Stealing things is wrong. Don't steal people's art.
Don't do that.
Don't be that kind of an asshat.
I'll tell you, developing and coming up with a style that fits your art and finally getting to that point is one of the most like awesome things I've ever done personally. I've been drawing for about 9-10 years now, and I'm finally at a point where I'm actually so happy with my art, and it took me a while to get there. So.
Okay. So what's else?
On the previous fursuit thing, going back, we have Pepper and Fox and Moore do have fursuits.
Okay.
Do they? Okay.
But Uncle Kage, Alkali, and Boozy Badger do not.
Oh yes, Boozy.
Boozy's so good.
Yeah, Boozy is really excellent. I didn't know that Fox and Pepper had fursuits.
I didn't either.
Oh.
But we do now.
We do
The
now.
more you know.
Wow.
And that's as far as we've got in the chat right now.
Okay.
Okay.
What are our numbers like?
We've got 10 watching.
10 watching. Well, that's nice. Okay. So should we get into some of the heavier topics?
Sure.
Okay. So we have a video for you guys to watch, and we're gonna watch it with you, and hopefully this works out really well.
Well, today, a funny thought occurred to me, I've noticed. It seems to me that the furry fandom seems to be going downhill a little bit.
Yeah, that's not good.
There's too much furry drama.
Yeah.
And there's too much in the way of, well, the furry fandom is not the way it used to be. It used to be a nice thing where you dress up in a suit and you cheer everybody up. But now it's gone foobar, basically.
Yeah.
It's gone so much downhill that it's now become a popularity contest.
Yeah, it's not good. That's not very good. It shouldn't be that way.
That's not what furries are all about. Real fursuiting is going out and cheering people up,
Yeah.
making people happy.
We love doing that every day.
There are certain places where the worst places I can think of at the moment is London Furs,
Yeah, London First is not very good. That's why you never see me there.
Confuzzled as well.
Yeah, because that's not that good. It's gone too extensive, too overpriced, and too snobby.
It just becomes a big popularity contest. If you're not popular and you don't want to do naughty stuff in a hotel or get drunk,
Yeah.
then they won't accept you as a friend.
Yeah, and they break 5 beds, which is not very good.
Those sort of things are supposed to be kept, out of the public limelight.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, the owner of the hotel is just going to say, no, we don't want furries back at this hotel anymore.
Yeah, that won't be good.
The other thing that really bugs me is a certain individual by the name of Artemis Wishfoot.
Yeah, he's bad.
He swears a lot in fursuit, and at Confuzzled he got banned for actually telling a young boy to F off. And all he did was ask for a photo opportunity.
Yeah, and that's not good.
And then we had another furry who's
So if
actually,
you can-
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the manager of...
Was that actually showing during the time?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, you can keep it up.
Keep it up.
Yeah, you can keep it up. It's fine. You can keep it up.
And Undertaker said that they're friends with both of the furries in the video.
Right. Okay, well, so maybe Undertaker can give us some ideas on this. So this is, I believe Jet Fox or someone, and their first accusation is that the fandom is becoming a popularity contest. Well, it's been a popularity contest for a long time, and I don't see the, like, everything's a popularity contest.
Right.
Like, everything is.
People are just gonna like certain suits better than other ones.
And that's okay. They have the right to do that. Other people, like, that's just how things go. Like, people get together and then leaders tend to form. Like, groups stratify. Just because you're not on top doesn't mean you should take shots at people all the time.
Right.
Like, I'm not a big fan of either one of these two. Like, mainly because they tend to lie a little bit. They said that Artemis was banned from Confuzzled. Okay, that never happened. And that he swore at a child. He swore at a small child. Okay, so Artemis does cuss in fursuit. Anyone who watches his videos, everyone knows that he does. That's not a big deal. Every con in the UK is 18 plus, which means that there cannot be any minors at those conventions. And what is more, Confuzzled purchases the whole hotel. All of it. So there are no minors at Confuzzled. Now, if that is the case, then he couldn't possibly have sworn at a minor. What is more damning is the idea that he was banned. He was not banned. I was actually with him for the past two Confuzzled, especially the one they're talking about. He never swore at a minor whatsoever. He never told a minor to F off because he wanted a photo whatsoever. We were both with him at MFF. He never denied anyone ever a photo, ever, so why would he do it there? And I think that was another one as well. Yeah, if he was banned, why was it that he was allowed to register for Confuzzled? Not only register, but was asked to be the MC for the dance comp, and will be the MC for the dance comp next year. In my opinion, these two have an axe to grind, and they're willing to lie and take shots at someone who's a friend of mine. So I'm obviously biased, but these are just facts, and you can't get around that. And it doesn't matter who you are and what kind of axe you want to grind. If you're going to take shots like that, we're going to call you out.
Bell Hill says, glad he defended Artemis. And Undertaker says, Random Fox just does not like Artemis.
Yeah, I know that Random Fox doesn't like Artemis. And Random Fox has also made some vague threats about how he's a martial artist and how, like, he does, like, if I wanted to have a problem with him, that was going to be a problem or something. And, like, that's adorable, but you don't scare me, son. Not now, not ever.
The problem I have with this video is they set it up to talk about furry drama. And it's fine if you don't like somebody, but putting rumors and accusations that aren't true in your video about furry drama, therefore just creating furry drama,
Yeah.
kind of defeats the purpose of the entire video.
Now, I'm not entirely certain, but the reason you don't see these two at the London Fur Meet is because the organizers don't want them there. They cause too much trouble. Now, I have heard that through a third-party source, so I don't know that that's true. That could not be true at all. They could be legitimately being picked on at London Fur, in which case the people picking on them shouldn't be picking on them.
No.
Anyway, so yeah, now you might be friends with them, and that's fine. But what we're gonna stick to on this is, like, if they make an accusation, I'm just gonna talk about the facts of the matter, not about anything else. So that's just what it is. And if they like that or don't like that, that doesn't matter, because you don't get to just spread misinformation and not get challenged on it. That's not going to happen. You don't get to say these things and say, oh, he was banned from Confuzzled. He was never banned from Confuzzled. We have evidence of that. We have pictures of that. We have video of that. We have emails of that where he's being asked very nicely to be an MC. Now, this video is like 4 months old, and as much as I would love for these guys to bury the hatchet and just not fight with each other anymore, I don't care anymore. I really don't. Like, if they want to hate Artemis, that's fine. They can hate Artemis. He probably doesn't even think about them all that often. I just saw the video, saw that they were spreading the same thing over and over again, and they keep saying the same lies over and over again, things that are easily falsifiable, and they just are allowed to get away with it. And I'm not going to let you get away with it. I'm sorry. That's utter bullshit. You're a lying fuckwit. No.
Tell us how you really feel.
I don't care for these two. They just, like, I feel bad for them because they've got nothing else better to do. I mean, they probably could make decent content, if they stopped grinding the axe. Anyway.
To one of their points they made, I want to disagree. That the only way to get popular in the furry fandom is to screw your way to the top, more or less.
Yeah, because none of us have ever made any
No.
friends outside of doing anything sexual in a hotel.
No, not at all.
That's how everyone makes their friends. You've got to be kidding me. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, man? Like, that's not true. Like, people are generally nice. Generally. But I'm just done with these two.
A lot of my friends that I've met, they've just come up and been like, hey, are you Ink? Hey, yeah, that's me. Cool. I'm this person. Hey, what's up? I've been wanting to see you, or they want to see me. And it just goes from there. Again, I've never screwed somebody on a conversation to gain a friend. I don't think that's a good plan to have.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't happen.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah.
some people do that, but, like, that's not everyone. And also, Confuzzled's an 18-plus con, so they can do what they want. Like, if they want to do that, that's fine. Those are all consenting adults.
Right.
Like, this isn't a con in the States where, like, you gotta check IDs and, like, hey, could you please not walk around in latex? It's, like, 9. And, like, there's still, like, kids about. Please don't do that. Is there anything else in the comments?
Bell Hill is unsubbing from Mark Jones because of the lying. And Undertaker says that they do love Artemis's videos.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, like, this. It's just that these two are misguided. And, like, just because they are lying fuckwits today doesn't mean they can't be decent people tomorrow. So, understand that. They could be decent people tomorrow if they chose to be. They just have to stop lying about people and letting it get back to me, because I'm going to call you on it. And maybe that's also a problem with the fandom too. It's like the call out culture as well. Maybe this is actually maybe I'm part of a even worse problem than just these two lying about things, and like pretending to call people out for things that never even happened. I think we're done with the video. There's more to it, and but I mean, really, it's the same thing. They just kind of go on and on about how people have bullied them and things like that. And if that's true, then the people that bullied them, they're assholes. You don't get to bully someone for no good reason.
No.
Now, you call one of my friends, like, if you, like, pop off against one of my friends and start spreading lies, I'm going to defend my friend. It's going to happen. So, don't do that again. It's the last time I'm going to say it to you. But,
Magnus and Potato King said that when rumors like these come up, they typically just choose not to believe them or ignore them, but they do keep them in mind in case they're true.
You should do your own
Yeah.
research.
Yeah.
You should 100% do your own research. There's no reason whatsoever that you should believe something just because someone told you that. But it doesn't mean that it might not be true. It just means that this person said this, it's whatever.
There's always two sides to an argument, and we have to remind everybody again, this is the internet, and there are going to be things on the internet that aren't true. So just do your research, make sure you've got the whole story before you make an opinion.
Right. So, but this leads us into our last topic for the evening, which is outrage culture, and which is also called call-out culture,
Yes.
which is effectively holding people accountable for things that are seen unsatisfactory to the group or otherwise problematic to the group, and pardon, and whether or not that's okay and a good thing. So, what do you think?
So just, if we're talking about call-out culture, following what I just said, it depends on what you're calling them out for, and if the story lines up. We've seen multiple times people being called zoophiles, and sometimes it's just, hey, I don't like that person, you're a zoophile, and there's no evidence, there's no nothing. Hey, well, I mean, he has a dog. There's a lot of people that have dogs. It doesn't mean you're a zoophile. It's just gotten overwhelming how many people just don't like each other to the point where they're willing to spread stuff like this, and it's not okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, just because, like, your dog, it's sunny outside, your dog goes outside, he comes back in wet, and you immediately say, it must be raining. There could be other explanations. He could have run through a sprinkler. The neighbor could have sprayed him with a hose. He could have jumped in a pond nearby. There are 100 different ways that dog could have gotten wet, but it's easy to believe these things because we get caught up in it. We get caught up in the hype of the call-out culture, and the reason that we get caught up in it is because we all want to appear to be on the moral side of the argument. And obviously, when it comes to things like that, there's only really one side to be on, and that side's against people that are zoophiles. Like, that's not okay.
No, not at all.
There's no way you can defend that. I'm sorry.
No, nasty.
It's gross. So, because of that, then we have to look at why people are like that. And the reason people tend to be like that is because we want to fit in. We want to be a part of the group, and we don't want to be the subject of persecution. And so we kind of pander to the group, like a lot. And even when we don't believe what the group is saying, we still go along with the group because otherwise you get hit with this tidal wave. Make sense?
Yeah.
Anything to add, or?
Nope, you're doing good.
Okay. I guess I'll just do it myself.
You're doing so great.
But more importantly than that, is the reason that we do this is that outrage is linked heavily to anger. Like, we see something that outrages us, we get angry. So, what happens when we get angry, biologically speaking? Well, when we get angry, biologically speaking, our mind sort of goes into the fight or flight mode. That's our natural thing. Our minds release two separate chemicals. I think one of them is what is it, like testosterone, and no, I'm sorry, not testosterone. It releases adrenaline
Yeah,
and
adrenaline.
uh, there's another one as well. Like uh, cortisol or something.
There's another one.
There's another one as well. I'm not a medical professional, so I don't know these words off the top of my head. But when that happens, it increases our heart rate. It increases our breathing. Our muscles tense. Our mind also diverts blood to our muscles, and we get ready to fight. But it also narrows our view, and we get target fixated on the thing that's making us angry. And it also increases our self-righteousness and our sense of moral superiority. And we want to destroy this thing because it's an affront to the things that we like and we want to hold dear. So our moral values become basically indisputable law at that point. And there's nothing and no one that's going to be able to talk to that person. Now, it's also important to note that there is a cool down process. So after you're angry, all of those chemicals that are flooding your system don't just vanish. You don't just calm down. It takes time, minutes, hours, sometimes days, for all of that to leave your system. And during that time of cool down, you are on edge. So little things can make you angry. So when a little thing happens that would normally not upset you, like you trip over something or whatever, if you've been angry recently and you've had all of those chemicals flooding your system, you're going to get angry again over something very, very small. So the reason I bring this up is that this is all a part of like how call out culture works. If you've ever been in a debate with someone in which they got unnecessarily angry with you because you brought up a point that ran counter to their point, it's because they are in this cooldown process. And they see that as another threat, so they just get right back, hyped back up, and they will attack that with a lot of vigor. So it's really, I'm not saying it's not their fault, they could easily just not respond, but that's why they do that. That is why it is so hard to rationalize with someone like that, because their mind is set in fight and flight mode. And you don't get to rationalize when you are in fight or flight mode. You have two options. That's it. Run away or stay in fight. Those are the two things that your mind is telling you to do. And when something upsets you to such a degree, that's what happens. So when you're wondering why people are kicking off and why they can't just calm down and why they can't just be reasonable, that is why. Biologically, we are incapable. It happens.
Yeet.
Thank you for adding something. Does any of that make sense to you guys? Do you understand it? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me?
What do you guys think about call-out culture?
Yeah, what do you think about call-out culture? Do you think it's... because in my mind, it can be good. It can be used for good. But as of recently, it's just being used as a part of, like, being, like, hyper-offended. And just so you know, just because you are offended does not make you right. It makes you offended. Go on.
Ragabash has a comment that said, for people with maladaptive behaviors, they can also link that hormonal response with a dopamine burst, so it becomes addictive to be in that state.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And yeah, that is a... Ragabash would actually know more than I would because he's studied stuff, and I just kind of look things up on the internet. So that's more that's more his area. So I'll just I'll bow to superior wisdom on that one.
And just for another comment, this is why it's such a big problem. People get addicted to doing this kind of thing. It becomes a feel good thing for them. It becomes an outlet. And again, that's why it's so big.
Yeah, it's like for some people they eat donuts. You know, when they are sad. Like I like donuts when I am sad.
But cake is better.
Cake is always better. Is that it?
Let's see. Magnus says ignore the bad unless it can harm someone.
Sometimes that's good. Sometimes that's not. Sometimes and I might run contrary to what I just said, but the problem is that some things start out small and end big.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
you
a
might not
snowball
want to
effect.
completely ignore it. You might want to note it. Maybe not interact with it, but maybe note it just for future reference. I think that would probably be better. That's just my opinion, but I believe that would probably be better. To maybe not just let it go as if it never happened, but maybe take note that this is an attitude that this person possesses.
Candy Rabbit said they met a furry on a game the other day that went off on some random guy, fully triggered over a small troll.
Yeah,
That's your area.
that person probably might have been in a cooldown phase as well, and just went off on it because it made them look bad in front of other people, and that's that's a part of it. Is like saving face and keeping the group's approval is paramount. Like we are social creatures, all of us. How long have we been streaming?
52 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna take my head off. I'm a bit hot.
I missed this comment up here. Ragabash also said that the other chemical is cortisol.
Cortisol.
Thank
Yeah, that's
you.
it. That is the one. Cortisol.
Benson said, not sure if you said it, but just being offended does count as a valid argument. Okay, you're offended and that's it. Question mark.
Exactly.
It does not count as a valid argument. It is just you are just you're just offended, and
Doesn't count.
yeah, it does not count as a valid argument. No, yeah, it's definitely okay. Lay down, buddy. Lay down. Go on, lay down. Settle down. Your tail is so fluffy. Come on, buddy. Lay down. Come on, lay down.
This is Gotham. He's an angel.
Yeah. Good boy. Good boy.
So yeah, his typo was
Didn't does not count.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I totally agree.
You're not doing the
100%.
voice anymore.
Yeah, I don't do the voice without the head on. That's weird.
weird.
I'm sorry. It gets really hot here with the lights just like
It
right
really
on you.
does, yeah.
I don't know how you are dealing with that.
I love hell. Feels
Okay.
good.
All right. I mean, that's fine too.
100% masochist.
All right. That-
Pigu is also much cooler.
That's
Not that much cooler.
is that why you want the harness?
What? What?
Because you're 100% masochist?
No! I just think they're cool, man.
Okay. All right. It's just because you think they're cool. And nothing else. All right. So that's effectively kind of an overview of call out culture or outrage culture or cancel culture or whatever you want to call it. Effectively, being offended doesn't mean that you have won. It just means that you're upset morally. And your morals and being upset doesn't necessarily mean that you are factually correct in an argument. It just means that something has upset you. And whereas that's still important, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's right. Like, for instance, if we were to take that same tact and apply it to a different group, let's say, I don't know, let me think of a group, Christians. that might get very upset over, say, gay people because that morally offends them. Does that mean that they are now 100% right about the gay community and should be given carte blanche to say whatever they want? No. Just because you are upset by something doesn't make you right. In most cases, the more smug and ridiculous and self-righteous you are about a thing, the more likely it is that you're just an asshole and that nobody really wants to deal with you. And more importantly, it's also why we can't have civil discourse with people, because the moment we try to have civil discourse with someone is the moment that everyone gets upset and says, oh, well, you've offended me, and because of that, all of your arguments, no matter how valid, have gone out the window. And and we're so terrified of being called out by some like group of people on the internet that that those individuals get to exert a certain type of power over all of us, and that's a problem. And we shouldn't let them have that kind of power ever. You should challenge people's beliefs, and those people should challenge my beliefs, and we should challenge each other's beliefs, because that's how we get better. That's how we rise above. That's how we make the world an actual better place.
Ragabash commented, they said they can only comment at red lights, but they're glad they could help. Loving the stream. Stoked to see the Q&A on the channel. Also, hashtag Team Gotham.
Hey,
Of course.
the goodest boy.
Yeah. Yeah, make sure you're only commenting at red lights. We're not worth it, man. I want to see you back up here healthy and not broken into 1,000 pieces. And it'd be a shame if you wrecked your car. Would that be it? And what are we at right now?
15 and 57 minutes.
Okay, cool. All right. So in effect, a lot of what we're talking about is fringe elements of the group, like fringe elements of the fandom as a whole. It's not that these people represent all of us, because they don't. These people only represent a small portion of us, but it's the people that we're all terrified of. We're terrified of being called out on Twitter for something that we didn't do, because like if that happens and enough people get behind it, then your life's ruined, like completely. Like your channel's ruined, your career's ruined, everything's ruined. So like, be very careful about what you say and what you do, because someone might like misinterpret it on purpose so that they can use it to as a wedge to drive you away from the community, because they don't like who you are or what you represent. And I've seen this happen a number of times in a number of different communities. And it generally comes back down to the individuals that are just, I think the terminology, or a terminology I heard once, was professionally offended about everything that's ever happened ever. And they're not really actually offended. But if they act that way, they know they gain that power. And if they are able to utilize a large group of people for that purpose, they can be exceptionally harmful. Now, this is a cancer in our society. This is a problem that we have created. We need civil discourse, and we need to be able to sit down with people we disagree with. And we need to be able to talk civilly without it turning to violence, without it turning to character assassination. Character assassination has nothing about that. The moment that you cuss me, the moment you call me names, the moment you refer to me as anything other than who I am and what I am, is the moment I know I've won this debate. And so, be warned. Like, I will consider it a victory if you just immediately, like, have nothing to say about my argument, but have lots to say about me.
Tato King says they have to go, but they love the points you're making. See you later.
Bye.
Bye,
Thanks
Potato
for
King.
coming.
Thank you so much.
And Benson says that tactic a lot of people use in conversation, like you were saying, is that they get offended, they attack people, and then the other person becomes defensive.
Yes, because we don't want to appear like we're attacking someone.
Mm-hmm.
And once you've offended someone, here's how you deal with this. You need to stop caring if the other person is offended. You need to start caring whether or not you're in the wrong about something. Does that make sense?
Everybody's going to be offended over something.
Yes. There's things that offend me. You know, there's lots of things that offend me. You know,
Being
but
next to Switch offends me.
yes.
But here I am.
Yes. You know, we're able to talk through it. You know, and we're able to get through this entirely fine. You know, it's not a big deal. But you know, that is what it is.
It is.
So, do you have anything more to say about call out culture? Some things that you've experienced, or maybe some stuff that has happened to you personally?
No.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not going to go there.
You wanna just bury that one, huh?
We'll save that one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine. If you're good with that. But you should probably do something to kind of maybe plug your upcoming channel.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
You
What's
have...
up, guys? I'm Ink. I'm here with Spin, and we're talking about stuff. I have a YouTube channel if you're interested. I don't have a lot of content on it.
Not yet.
Not yet. But I'm hoping, I've got a few animations on there. I'm hoping to talk about animation and art, kind of like I did earlier, and the do's and don'ts, what's good, what's bad. So if you want to follow it, I guess we can link it down below.
Yeah, we can put stuff in the description down below. Your channel is obviously linked on mine as well. So we'll link your channel. So if you want to go and give her a sub, that would be great.
I would appreciate it. It would be awesome.
She's a very small channel right now, but there's a lot of promise.
Yes. And we can talk about whatever. If you've got art problems, if you've got general questions, just come at me and we'll talk about it. The end.
Well, okay. So, are there any other comments, things we need to address?
No, but Bell Hill did say keep up the good work, Ink.
Thank you. I'll try. I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us for the stream. It was kind of impromptu. We were kind of trying to find a way to fit in a bunch of topics, and just decided that a live stream was probably the best, and we wanted to test out some new tech that we've been playing around with for you guys. Make sure to join me on my my Mixer for some games and watch me be bad at games. Also, we have other people that play games too. There is Hosher, who is, I believe it's Hosher 85. Hosher 85. Hosher 85. He also plays games. He does a lot of, what do you do, Hosh?
Apex Legends.
Apex Legends. He's quite good at any of the battle royale games. A lot better than I am. I generally just put a controller through a wall. But
not too high.
Yes. So be sure to join us for those kind of games and things. I game and stream pretty regularly. So does he. He games and streams pretty late, and so do I sometimes. You should get probably some notifications on Twitter about that. But aside from that, we really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to join us, ask us questions, provide feedback and comments, watch some videos with us, and also...
One more plug for me. I'm on Twitter for those who aren't on YouTube that often. We'll link that too.
Yes, we'll link all social medias that are appropriate down in the description.